My name is Scott Lichtenberg with the Garland, Texas Police Department. I am the firearms instructor, and I'd like to introduce a technique that could potentially save lives and help our officers to protect and defend ourselves from violent attackers. The semi-automatic handguns which most agencies issue, by design, will not fire unless the slide is fully locked forward. That comes into play if an attacker were to try to disarm you and he can get that slide back slightly, the trigger goes away. Also, if you were in a predicament where you were pinned and they were pushing up against you with their body, they can get that slide back slightly, you lose your trigger. Without the trigger being able to ignite the primer and send the bullet down the barrel, this is pretty worthless. So we need to know how to get that corrected and get that back working. You're going to have to assess individually what's happening. If he's trying to take the gun away from you, you're going to probably want to step with him. You don't want to take this support hand off the gun and give him your gun. You're going to have to be thinking about that as it's happening. But what you're going to need to do is keep your strong hand on the gun and very quickly move your support hand so that your thumb is on the back side of the slide. If you'll trap your thumb with your fingers, push the slide forward as you pull the frame back into it. Okay? That's going to return that slide forward into battery, and the gun will now function. If you have to fire, you can. Once you fire, understand that you've just interrupted the cycle of operations and that you now have a spent round in the chamber. You're going to have to manually eject that round out of the chamber and feed a fresh one to assess and follow up if needed. Okay? The motion is kept in tight. You're not necessarily wanting to give him the gun. It's all done right here. Okay? The technique was introduced to us by the excellent Bank Miller of Action Target in Provo, Utah. It's very effective. Okay, again with the slide correction technique, you want to make sure that your training methodology is safe. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is ensure you got a clear and safe handgun. Visually, physically inspect the chamber. It's best to go through this dry several times with the students and make sure that they're getting the technique down. We're going to start off in a ready attention type position, and once we realize that our trigger has been defeated because the slide is back, you'll know it because you have no trigger. There's no trigger at all. There's no click. It's just spongy. There's nothing going on. Have your students either go with or come back from the attacker, and you have to very quickly bring the support hand back, push forward, pull back on the frame. Okay? You have to be very careful not to get your fingers over the ejection port or you will cause a stoppage. Okay? But you're going to push, pull, press. Then, if you can create distance. Get that spent round out of the chamber, and get a fresh round up, assess, and fire if needed. Okay, assuming that you've run through the drill dry several times, make sure that your students have the mechanics down. When it's time to go hot, just explain to them, make sure that you keep your hand on the slide. You're not going to feel a horrific amount of force. You're just going to feel shock, but you need to remember the mechanics of the drill and stay with it. We're going to go ahead and go hot. Stand by. Fix it! Good. Back down, step into it,